Mithridates VI, a name that echoes through the corridors of ancient history, whispered with both awe and fear. He was not just a king, he was a force of nature, a man whose very existence challenged the order of his world. The name itself sends shivers down the spine of Roman history. To the Romans, Mithridates was a nightmare come to life, a ruler who refused to bow, who turned the tables on the greatest empire the world had ever seen. His reputation grew with every battle, every act of defiance, haunting the dreams of Roman generals and senators alike. For almost 30 years, this king from Pontus, a kingdom on the Black Sea, dared to challenge the might of Rome. Pontus, a land of rugged mountains and rich coastlines, became the stage for a dramatic struggle. Mithridates transformed his kingdom into a fortress, rallying not just his own people but also neighboring nations who longed to break free from Roman domination. He became a legend, a symbol of resistance against an empire that seemed, well, unstoppable. Stories of his courage and cunning spread far beyond his borders, inspiring hope in the oppressed and striking fear into the hearts of his enemies. To his followers, he was more than a king. He was a beacon of hope, a living myth. Mithridates was no ordinary king. He was a skilled warrior, a cunning strategist, and a charismatic leader who inspired his people to fight for their freedom. On the battlefield, he led from the front, earning the loyalty of his soldiers through bravery and sheer determination. Off the battlefield, he plotted and schemed, always staying one step ahead of his enemies. He spoke many languages, was rumored to be immune to poison, and really embodied the spirit of his ancestors, tracing his lineage all the way back to Alexander the Great. His court was a place of intrigue and learning where scholars, spies, and warriors mingled. Mithridates was fascinated by science and the art of survival, famously experimenting with antidotes to protect himself from assassination attempts. His defiance ignited a series of conflicts known as the Mithridatic Wars, a clash of titans that would shape the destiny of Rome and the East. These wars raged across continents, drawing in countless peoples and armies. The struggle was not just military, it was political, cultural, and deeply personal, as Mithridates fought to preserve his world from Roman conquest. These wars were not just about territory or power, they were about survival, about cultures clashing, and about the ambition of one man to stand against an empire. Mithridates' story is a testament to the power of resistance, the complexity of leadership, and the enduring struggle for freedom in the face of overwhelming odds. His legacy lives on, reminding us that even the mightiest empires can be shaken by the courage of a single rebel king. The Roman Republic, by the 1st century BC, was a force to be reckoned with. Its legions had conquered vast territories, from Spain in the west to Greece in the east. Rome's hunger for power and expansion seemed honestly insatiable. Mithridates watched Rome's advance with growing unease. He understood the threat they posed to his kingdom and to the world he knew. He saw how Rome treated those who dared to resist, and he refused to let Pontus become just another trophy in Rome's growing collection. The stage was set for a confrontation, a clash between the Roman eagle and the Pontic star. Rome, confident in its legions and driven by ambition, sought to expand its dominion. Mithridates, determined to protect his kingdom and fueled by a deep hatred for Roman aggression, prepared to fight. Mithridates was not just a warrior king, he was known as the Poison King for a reason. He was a master of intrigue and deception, and he used every tool at his disposal to combat the Roman threat. He forged alliances with neighboring kingdoms, uniting them against their common enemy. His spies infiltrated Roman ranks, spreading misinformation and sowing discord. He even experimented with poisons, making himself immune to their deadly effects. One of his most audacious moves was the Asiatic Vespers. In a coordinated uprising, he ordered the massacre of Roman and Italian citizens within his reach. It was a brutal act, designed to cripple Rome's influence in the east and ignite a fire of rebellion. Tens of thousands perished, sending shockwaves through the Roman world. The Mithridatic Wars were a series of brutal campaigns, but one battle stands out, the Battle of Chaeronea in 86 BC. This wasn't just a clash of armies, it was a clash of destinies. Leading the Roman forces was Lucius Cornelius Sulla, a ruthless and ambitious general. He faced Mithridates' vast army on the plains of Chaeronea, the same ground where, centuries earlier, Philip II of Macedon had secured his dominance over Greece. The battle raged for hours. Roman legions, disciplined and well-trained, met their match in the ferocity and sheer numbers of Mithridates' forces. But Sulla's tactical genius proved decisive. The Roman legions prevailed, crushing Mithridates' army and shattering his aura of invincibility. The Mithridatic Wars were not just about military conquests, they were a clash of cultures and ideologies. Rome, with its insatiable appetite for expansion, represented a threat to the established order of the East. Mithridates, on the other hand, became a symbol of resistance against Roman imperialism. He rallied the people of Anatolia, appealing to their shared heritage and promising to protect them from Roman oppression. The wars had a profound impact on both sides. They tested the limits of Roman power and exposed the internal divisions that would eventually lead to the Republic's downfall. For the East, it was a period of upheaval and change, as kingdoms were toppled and new alliances forged. Despite his early successes, Mithridates ultimately could not withstand the might of Rome. After decades of war, he was defeated, his kingdom in ruins. His story, however, did not end with his defeat. He became a legendary figure, a cautionary tale of ambition and resistance against overwhelming odds. His use of poison, his cunning strategies, and his unwavering defiance made him a figure of fascination for generations to come. The Mithridatic Wars marked a turning point in Roman history. They demonstrated the limits of republican expansion and foreshadowed the rise of powerful generals like Sulla, Pompey, and Caesar, who would eventually dismantle the Republic and pave the way for the Roman Empire. The Roman victory in the Mithridatic Wars came at a heavy price. Though the legions returned home in triumph, their faces bore the exhaustion of years spent in brutal conflict, far from the comforts of Rome. The city celebrated, but beneath the surface, the cost of victory was felt by every citizen and soldier alike. Years of relentless warfare drained Roman coffers and left the once mighty legions battered and depleted. The treasury, once overflowing with the spoils of conquest, now struggled to pay the wages of its soldiers and fund the rebuilding of devastated provinces. Equipment lay broken and discarded, a silent testament to the ferocity of the fighting. The Roman people too felt the strain, taxes rose, and families mourned the loss of loved ones who would never return. The wars also exposed the growing social and political tensions simmering within Roman society. The divide between the wealthy elite and the common citizens widened as the burdens of war fell unevenly across the population. In the Senate, heated debates erupted over how to restore stability and who should wield power in the aftermath. Ambitious generals, emboldened by their battlefield successes, began to see opportunities to seize influence, setting the stage for future upheaval. While Rome ultimately triumphed, the Mithridatic Wars revealed that their empire was not invincible. The scars of battle stretched across the provinces, and the once unshakable confidence of Roman supremacy was now tinged with doubt. The battered standards and ruined cities served as stark reminders of the vulnerability even the greatest powers can face. The Romans had faced a determined and resourceful enemy in Mithridates, king of Pontus, who challenged their military prowess and forced them to rethink their strategies. His armies fought with relentless courage, and his cunning tactics kept Rome on the defensive for years. Every victory was hard-won, and every defeat a lesson in humility for the Roman commanders. Mithridates may have been defeated, but he had made Rome bleed for every inch of ground gained. The fields of battle were littered with the fallen, and the survivors carried the physical and emotional scars of war. The cost in human life was staggering, and the memory of the conflict would haunt Rome for generations. The Mithridatic Wars served as a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires could be challenged by those who dared to resist. The sieges, the desperate defenses, and the moments when victory seemed uncertain all underscored the fragility of power. Rome's enemies had shown that determination and unity could shake the foundations of an empire. In the aftermath, Rome was forced to confront its own weaknesses. The city and its people began the slow process of rebuilding, physically, economically, and politically. The lessons learned from the Mithridatic Wars would shape the future of the Republic, as leaders sought new ways to strengthen their society and prevent such costly conflicts from erupting again. It forced Rome to adapt and evolve, ultimately leading to the more centralized power structure of the Roman Empire. The need for stronger leadership and more efficient administration became clear, paving the way for the rise of emperors and the transformation of Roman government. This new era would see Rome reach even greater heights of power and influence, but the seeds of its internal struggles were sown in the fires of the Mithridatic Wars. The echoes of those hard-fought battles would resonate through Roman history, shaping the destiny of an empire that learned, through hardship, the true cost of victory. Mithridates VI's death marked not just the end of a king, but the closing of a remarkable chapter in the history of Pontus and the ancient world. His passing signaled the fall of a dynasty that had fiercely resisted foreign domination for generations, and the loss was felt deeply by his people, who had seen in him a symbol of hope and defiance. His kingdom, once a powerful and independent realm stretching along the Black Sea, was now absorbed into the ever-hungry Roman Republic. Pontus, which had stood as a bulwark against Roman ambitions, became just another province in their vast and ever-expanding empire. The proud cities and fortresses that had once echoed with the sounds of Pontic victory now fell silent under the shadow of Roman standards. Yet, the memory of Mithridates did not simply vanish with the fall of his kingdom. His image, stamped on coins and immortalized in statues, continued to inspire awe and curiosity. His defiance of Rome, his military cunning, and his relentless pursuit of freedom for his people became the stuff of legend. Stories of his daring escapes, his mastery of intrigue, and his ability to unite diverse peoples against a common enemy were passed down through generations. Ancient historians and storytellers recounted his exploits by firelight, ensuring that his legacy would endure long after the dust of his empire had settled. He became a figure of legend, a king whose courage and ambition set him apart from his contemporaries. In the eyes of many, he was not just a ruler, but a symbol of resistance and the unyielding spirit of a people unwilling to bow to foreign rule. Mithridates became a symbol of resistance against the seemingly unstoppable force of Roman expansion. His battles, both won and lost, inspired those who would later challenge Rome, and his name was whispered with respect and fear in the halls of power across the ancient world. Though ultimately defeated, Mithridates left an indelible mark on history. The scars of war and the ruins of once great cities serve as silent witnesses to his struggle and the high cost of resistance. He forced Rome to confront a tenacious and resourceful enemy, one who would not yield easily. His campaigns stretched Roman resources and tested the resolve of even their greatest generals. Mithridates exposed vulnerabilities within the Roman Republic, revealing cracks in their seemingly invincible armor. His resistance forced Rome to adapt, to innovate, and to reconsider its strategies for conquest and control. In many ways, his relentless opposition inadvertently contributed to the transformation of Rome itself, hastening the rise of the Roman Empire. The lessons learned from the wars against Mithridates would shape Roman policy and military tactics for generations to come. The story of Mithridates serves as a powerful reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, courage, determination, and the will to fight for one's people can leave a lasting impact on the world. His legacy endures, echoing through the ages, as a testament to the enduring power of resistance and hope. Mithridates VI, the Poison King, remains a captivating figure from ancient history. He challenged the might of Rome for decades, employing cunning tactics, forging alliances, and becoming a symbol of resistance against Roman imperialism. What do you think made him such a formidable opponent to Rome? Was it his strategic brilliance, his mastery of poison, his charisma, or a combination of all these factors? Share your thoughts, and let's delve deeper into the fascinating story of this ancient king who dared to defy an empire.